Okay, I clicked on your link and all looks pretty good. Since this is a view only mode, which is obvious I can't go in and change anything, that moving average on the momentum tool, I'll show you where you can control that to embolden it a bit more so you can see it better. There is going to be some training videos covering why that's there, what you can use it for. And then also I can show you some stuff you can turn off that will unclutter the price access area. And then later on, once the markets reopen here at 5 p.m. Central, I'm going to, not right at 5, but after I have dinner and stuff, I'm going to go to my trade office and see what all the uh, account P&Ls actually show live with feed connected and see what the heck's going on, why you're showing 2K down when I was showing 604 closeout pre-market Friday when I just called it a day. So anyhow, I'm going to go check that and then dig into that and then report back. I'll get an update on that over. But anyhow, let me go show you on my chart some stuff real quick. If you go into any of the indicators and you go into settings, the little partial gear tooth looking thing, right here, labels, you can see all the gobbledygook and the price access and values. I don't like to see all the values. I turn that off and I always uncheck these two boxes on every indicator I ever run on charts. So same thing with trend bias. I make sure those two boxes are unchecked. They're both in the style section. And then for the momentum tool to thicken up this line so you can see it better, the moving average that's overlaid on top of the momentum tool, but reading that momentum tool info. If I go into settings and I've unchecked those two items, the labels and the values under style, but in inputs, here's the length for the signal that either lags it or accelerates it. But then if you go into style, that's the MA. If you click on it, let's see here, I'm on a 4. There's a 3, a 2. Very likely yours might be all the way down on the first thickness level where you can't see it that well. You could go up to a 4. And then a solid line. I don't have it as a dotted line. I have it as a solid line. So yeah, that's where to adjust that right there under the MA. And I have it colored kind of an aqua color. Other than that, everything on your chart looks all dialed in. I'll kind of go over where my current settings are at. Okay, the PFS scalp, there's really nothing to adjust from a settings standpoint. It's hard-coded other than the thickness of the indicator overlaying on top of price, and then the opacity. So if I go up to like 100, that just totally covers up the candles. I can't even see them, so that's a little heavy. 60 works for me, but you can go lower or higher. And then thickness will widen that. So if I'm currently at a 6, let's say if I go to an 11, look what happens. Again, it kind of like, it widens it. But you can adjust it however you want so you can see it better from a visual standpoint. Like if I go down to like a 2, you'll hardly see. You'll still see the diamonds where they're supposed to be, on the bars close they're supposed to be. They'll move around a little bit because they're a fixed distance away from the indicator. So I've been having mine on a 6, 5, 6, 7. This kind of works for me. Actually, that's on the scalp indicator. So let's go back to a 6, and voila. Now the trend bias tool does have adjustability. I've been currently using 1.8, but watch what happens. It will start, like look at this area here where we have some momentum down being detected, and then it flips back to long. Watch what happens as I march up. 1/10 of an adjustment at a time. And eventually it's gone. And then here's one over here where it lifted just a little bit, and then it's back to purple. So if I get back into the settings and I keep going up, so this is like lagging the indicator or making it less sensitive to smaller price movements, and eventually it's gone. So why it's important to have this here is we go on higher time frames. We want to be able to adjust the numbers down to make it a little bit more responsive. And then somebody that's on really low time frames, we want to increase and lag it a bit so it's not too sensitive on a time frame where there's a whole lot of noise of price. So I like anywhere from like 1.5 to about 1.8 on a 6 Renko brick chart. So if I go into the settings right here, I'm on a, like the 5 and 6 is actually kind of a low time frame. 7 is a good one. 6 and 7 are really good for, working intraday scalp type operations, but not being on such a low time frame that there's just a lot of noise of price going on. So the settings that I had on these two indicators, I basically leave them leave them the same, whether I'm on like a 6 or 7. If I went down to a 5, where I'm getting more noise of price, then I would take the PFS trend bias and I would bump it up. I would make it a bit less responsive. I don't need it reacting to every little whipsaw of price. Okay, I'm going to go back up to a 7 and I'll leave it right there. And that is good to go. And the momentum tool, it's pretty good right where I have it for how I use it. In some other videos, I'm going to show how you can look for zero line crosses, but you'd want to be on different settings in the upper 2 boxes. And there's some ways you can use the signal line. But I need to really cover that in a very specific video, so the training just covers that, so a person doesn't get kind of distracted with other indicator training or commentary. It's just I can focus on just that indicator and what are some additional uses of that indicator with the various adjustments that we have available. Okay, there you have it. But yeah, your chart looked good. But yeah, if you want to embolden that line a bit more so you can see it, I wanted to cover that. Okay, talk to you a bit later.